Hello Pisces, welcome to ÄLKÖMÜ. My name is NiJiLL and you have found your August 2025 reading. I don't know if you stayed and watched the shuffle, but these particular cards in the middle were pre-pulled from your summer reading. I don't know if you watched that reading or not, but as promised, I re-pulled them to build a larger reading around it. You're welcome to go and listen to it. I will summarize these so you're not completely lost, but I go into a deeper explanation on that video. It's a pretty short video too, so if you want, it's only 2 months. Anyway, all that said, let's get started. I'm going to summarize this. You do have, it says apology, forgiveness. I'm pretty sure this is coming from somebody outside yourself. I'm going to move all this really quick so I can get to the center of your reading here. Okay. Yeah. So as we talked about, this is the Three of Pentacles. And the Three of Pentacles in this particular deck is represented by Earth only. That is the only correspondence that the creator gives it. And this obviously is the creation of something. You see, he's creating a work of art, right? This could be you working on something. This could be something you have been working on. Pentacles do indicate that it probably has something to do with your goals and money. It could, in some instances, be a relationship or anything that you're working really hard on. But this is an indication that there is going to be outside help offered, right? And the larger cards here are always taken in the upright, but I do take note of them when they come in reverse. And this card did come in reverse when we pulled it in your summer reading. And so this basically tells me that, well, help will be offered, and this may be something that you initially want to reject, but ultimately you accept the help. And I do think it's a good thing. I think it's a positive thing as it pertains to your goal. Let me see if I could straighten this out or refocus it. There you go. Okay. Now, you also have the Page of Pentacles, and Page of Pentacles also came in reverse. This is Mercury and Taurus energy. So you almost had a missed opportunity here. I think that it did have something to do with you initially trying to reject this help, saying, no, I got this, or no, I don't need any help, or something along those lines. So you initially almost missed an opportunity, but you didn't. Now, as a result of all this rethinking and restructuring, you do have the Ace of Swords that truly came in the upright. This is pure air energy. It's a truth, seeing something clearly. I think that you see something clearly. I think that there is, with that wreath there's something that is awarded to you as a result of seeing something clearly. And then you have beautiful energy. You have Temperance. This is Sagittarian energy. But more than that, you are alchemizing something special. And yeah, this is something special. Could it be a relationship? Of course it could. We're going to get into this a little bit more. This is really giving me goal vibes for some of you, but this definitely could be a relationship. But let's move on here. You do have, wow, interesting. So you have the Devil, and the Devil is Capricorn energy. And I do think it's something you're going to be tempted by. It looks, honestly, here, if I'm going to guess, it looks like there's two things going on here. It looks like you have goals, money, you have something going on with that, ambition, but you also have something going on a personal level, right? At least for some of you, it looks like there's both going on, but you have the Devil here, right? And the Devil is Capricorn energy. And I do think in this case, it represents some sort of temptation. And here it is. You have the Ace of Swords coming in reverse. And the Ace of Swords, as we know, is clarity, right? But there is something untrue. It looks like you have an opportunity here to see something very clearly, and there is something else going on. There is some sort of temptation here. And with this apology forgiveness card, this could be somebody coming in with an apology or an explanation for something, and it is just not the truth. All right, you may be tempted to forgive them. You may be tempted to look past it. And here, look, you have the Lovers in reverse. This is Gemini energy, but in coming in here in reverse, let me show you something. You see the Lovers, and then you see at the bottom of the Devil deck, you see the Lovers chained, correct? So you have this temptation. Could be lust. It could very well be lust, something that you've been tempted to do. There is something untrue here on the table. But you also have the Lovers in reverse, right? And the Lovers in reverse all three cards could be seen as something unclean, unclear, right? It's coming in that way for me anyway. This could also be a decision that you don't make, or that you hold off making, or that you don't make in your own best interests. So let's keep that. We'll keep that under our hats as we go along and open this up a little bit. But you also have two number fives here, and the number fives always represents change, conflict, challenges, right? And when we add this up and we break it down, we get Jupiter energy, which is Sagittarian energy. It is that temperance energy, right? You alchemizing one thing to another, alchemizing a situation, also trying to be patient with the situation. But Jupiter ultimately is expansion. So you are being asked to expand your energy here. And I mean, look at this. You know, I'm going to take my jacket off here. Give me 1 second. This room is either freezing or it's hot as hell. So you'll notice that sometimes when I deal the cards, I have long sleeves on, and then when I take them, you know, I change a lot because it really does depend. But you have Bayberry and Aphrodisia, and this sort of drives the point home, doesn't it? Because Bayberry represents a positive change in money, right? If there's been any kind of negative energy towards money, or maybe you're short on money, or maybe you're working towards a goal and you haven't seen anything, Bayberry is a very good indication. It's a great omen that things are going to start opening up. But you also have Aphrodisia, and it says this is arousal, sexual energy, right? Something that is very hard to resist. A what? A temptation. So it does look like for many of you, there are two things going on. And it also looks like maybe for one of you, there may be some sort of temptation around a job, around something that looks maybe too good to be true. But I honestly don't think it's for the bulk of you here, Pisces. Now over here you have Mercury, and this is number 3 in this deck. But you know, Mercury is Gemini, Virgo energy. It does pay to note that for most of August, Mercury will be in retrograde, right? And we know the earmarks of Mercury retrograde. It is, you know, communications, emails that maybe go, contracts. You shouldn't be signing contracts. You may be misunderstood. You may misunderstand others via communication. There's things like that going on. And when I say most of the month, I think it ends on the 11th or something, but we have that post shadow period, right? So it does really encompass most of our month here. But you have this, and you have to be very careful with deals, with contracts, with things like that. Also, like I said, you may be dealing with a Gemini / Virgo. That may be a prevalent thing. You have fire energy here, and this is number 23 in this deck. And this is Leo, Sagittarius, Aries energy. And what's interesting is I know Ceres, the asteroid, is in Aries as of August 11th. And that does represent inner conflicts. And we talked about that conflicting fives energy over here, right? So around that time, you may be feeling very conflicted. And ironically, it is the 11th, right? When Mercury finishes their retrograde, kind of, right? Finishes the most intense part of the retrograde. And we have Sun in Leo, which is another fire sign. I'm going through the fire possibilities here. But Sun will be in Leo until about August 22nd. So we have that energy too. And that's increased confidence, a desire for attention, perhaps getting the attention we deserve. We also have Venus that enters Leo on August 25th. And that's good for attraction. It's good for attracting money. It's good for attracting passion. It's good for self-love as well. So it does sort of encompass everything we talked about already here, right? Yeah, for sure. So here you have the circle cross of tenon. It says rare intersection of heaven and earth. This particular card is very fascinating, and I think what I'm going to do, you know, I don't usually read from a book. I don't really like doing, I don't like that during a reading. I like very intuitive readers, right? But I do think in this particular case, you might benefit from it. So I'm going to read a little excerpt from this book. And it says, and I'm just going to read a little bit of it. It says, your plans and purpose are aligned with greater cosmic forces. Whether you see it coming or not, things will fall into place, and what you have been working towards will come to fruition. A rare intersection of heaven and earth result in a precious manifestation of grace. The divine shall correct a situation that is in need of realignment. Fear not, pray boldly, and be faithful. All is well. So if there's been something going on in your life that seems karmically unbalanced, seems like you've been deserving of something that you haven't gotten, something positive, I do think that there is a realignment on its way here, Pisces. Yeah, let's look at your ruin. You have this is great. You have the harvest ruin. And the harvest is exactly what it sounds like. There is fruit. There's fruit. Your efforts are bearing fruit here, okay? For sure. This is more Jupiter energy. All right. The harvest ruin does represent Jupiter. It represents Sagittarius again. You may have Sagittarius highly aspected in your chart. You may be dealing with someone with that, a placement like that, or it simply may just be you alchemizing a situation. This is definite fire energy, and this is usually a yes to any question. Your letters here are D, M, S, and A. This could be someone's letter, someone's initials. It could be the name of a restaurant, an airlines, an airport, a street, a city, anything like that. It could be somebody going into your DMs here, right? You could receive a communication during that Mercury retrograde time, especially here, right? Very interesting, especially after it ends. That might happen. I like that. We have magic prayer, and this is number 32. It is coming in reverse. So what this means is this is asking you to release any lingering energy, right? That's embedded in for sort of like stubborn and inflexible energy, right? To release that. There could be something like this holding you back, right? There could be something or someone like this, right? Someone who's extremely stubborn, set in their ways, doesn't want to move, immobile, fixed. In other words, very fixed energy. You have the lover here, man. How many more things can point towards lust and love? You have the lover. And this card is very Geminian, very Geminian. Let me see if the only cards that seem to focus this camera are these. There you go. So you have the lover here, and the lover is number 17 in that deck, and it could be self-love, honestly. For some of you, it could be shared love. It could be gratitude, right? But it's that awe, right? It is that beauty. It's finding beauty in something. Or someone or a situation. And here, look, you have affairs. And it does say mistress third party, but I don't know. I don't really feel that here. Of course, it could be something very taboo with that devil energy. Could be. For a few of you, you could be in a very taboo situation, something a little unconventional, or something that maybe others wouldn't quite understand. But there is something hot, for sure, here on the table. There is definitely something hot. But do keep in mind, you have Skinner, and this is a page energy. You see this page? Very page-like. It's interesting. There are other signs that got this for August, which is interesting. But there is something or someone around you that can be deceptive, can be on the deceptive side, right? That could be that devil energy. There could be someone coming in for an apology, and it's not what it seems. It's not what it seems, right? You have here the strength of vulnerability, number 4. It says, true power lies at the root of a perceived weakness. And yeah, there is something about you here that you may have looked at as very vulnerable in the past. There is a part of you that is very vulnerable, part of you that you have may construed as very weak, but within that weakness there lies a strength of sorts here. It could also be what frightens you, right? That also guides you and pushes you. Your vulnerability this month is where you will recognize your power. So that's why they call it strength of vulnerability. So keep that in mind. You also have here Tiger and Tankard, right? So when we look at the Tiger card, I'm telling you, I don't know if this camera is particularly good for tarot. because it's not the camera. The camera itself is actually really a good camera, but it just seems to unfocus a lot because I move around so much. It says, tiger, doing something risky. We're taking a chance, for sure. But the tiger is a very fiery animal, for sure. Now, there are some sources that will say that the tiger is Aquarius, but I don't really believe that. I just don't. I think it's more of a fire sign, right? So it's a fire. This could be the Sagittarius energy we talked about. It could be the Aries energy we talked about. It could be the Leo energy we talked about. But you have this tiger energy on the table, and you have tankard, and it's a celebration and fun. I really do think that you're going to be having fun this month for sure. Let me move these out of the way. Here you have your 3 legs, and as I always say, that your month is broken up into thirds. The first leg could come last, the last leg could come first. So do not take this. It's not going to come in order for everyone, right? It's not a science. So let's get started on your legs, because leg 1 sort of goes with a lot of the things we said. It says self-love, creation, right? That lover, self-love, it could be part of it. It could be part of it. There is something that you have created. There is a goal that you have been working on, or that you have been wishing for. And it has something, it's very, very rooted in your intentions. But there is a creation here on the table. Look at these cards. You have the world. The world is Jupiter energy again, right? More Jupiter energy. And when we look at this card, it's very fixed energy, right? When we look at this card, you see those 4 creatures in each corner, and they represent the fixed signs. And those creatures, right? They're 4 divine beings, and they're all brought together to witness a conclusion, right? And that dancer in the middle, at least in this deck, is from the death card, right? The rebirth side of the death card in this deck. And the pose that she's taking, it sort of looks like the Hanged Man if you think about it, right? So this soul is renewed, and the next cycle is now upon you. So you've achieved something. It is an achievement. And here you have the Emperor energy, and this is Aries energy. It's more fire energy, but we know that the Emperor is a very powerful archetype, right? Another extremely powerful card, especially next to the world, right? The Emperor and the Empress are divinely linked, right? But unlike his counterpart, the Emperor looks towards the future, right? Both immediate future and long-term future. So after you achieve this goal, you're looking towards your future in a very, very powerful way. This card asks you to think about what you want to expand upon, what you want to leave behind, right? This is the decisions that he's making. And here you have the 9 of Wands, and the 9 of Wands on this side is a respite, right? You're weary, you're tired, you've achieved something here. And on this side of the 9 of Wands, in this deck, Moon and Sagittarius energy, this is your moment to replenish and renew, right? He's approaching a womb-like cave, and he's renewing himself on this side of the 9 of Wands. When we add this up and we break it down, we get the number 7, which is your power number. It's Neptune energy. So this is a very powerful leg for you, Pisces. And like I said, this could come right away at the beginning of August, or it could become in one of your 3 legs. But look for it, because it's really, really important, and it's really wonderful. And it does either stem from this newfound self-love, or achieving something will give you the self-love that maybe you've been doing without. Here on your second leg, it says avoidance and stalemate. So let's see what this is about here, Pisces. You do have the Justice card, right? The Justice card, as we know, is Libra energy. Wow, it's right next to the World card, too. So you have the Justice card. The justice is coming for someone, right? Or rebalancing. It could be we talked about that up here, a rebalancing of a situation that was unbalanced, right? Something that may have been unfair to you in the past, that, all of a sudden the scales are balancing for you, because it is right next to the World card, right? Don't forget that. Now, your center card, the one that everything sort of revolves around, is your Page of Pentacles, another Page of Pentacles, like right here. And it's this side of the Page of Pentacles, someone who doesn't want to set. So this side is a little different, right? This Page of Pentacles is a person who doesn't want to settle where they are and build where they are, build a fortune where they are. Instead, this page wants to set forth on a new path and build a new a brand new path for himself, a brand new goal. In other words, they want to set forth and seek a brand new fortune. So that's different, right? You have the emperor here, and then the emperor makes this decision. Okay, I'm going to start moving now. I'm not going to stay here. My path is somewhere else. And just to drive this point home, you have the Ace of Pentacles, right? And the Ace of Pentacles is pure earth energy, but it is the gift of good fortune. The answer to this card, especially on this side, is yes. You have two yeses. There's yeses everywhere, especially about money or goals, especially, okay? So the ace is a brand new opportunity. It's a brand new idea. So it is something that you're going to be attaining. We add this column up and we break it down, we get Jupiter energy, and it encourages us to take chances and think big. And you may be avoiding something here. It says avoidance of a stalemate, maybe staying in the same situation you're in, even though it did bring you something, isn't for you, because it's going to just, it's not going to set you on fire, right? You realize that moving in a different direction is really going to be good for your growth, because you have Jupiter energy, you have that avoidance card, you have that Page of Pentacles coming in on that side. It all sort of links up, and it definitely makes sense. Here on your last leg, you have closed off, guarded, and resistant. You have closed off, guarded, and resistance. If so far, it really looks like there's a lot of goal energy on the table, but I want to know where this comes in. So let's see. You have the Eight of Pentacles, and there is you. You're working diligently, Mercury and Virgo, right? So you have the World here, you have Justice here, and then you have the Eight of Pentacles. A new journey marked by fairness to you, and you're an effort after a major completion, working on something new. Thinking about your future, right? But you have the Four of Wands, and the Four of Wands is, you see the door, right? All right. There's a dove and there is a ram. I don't know if you see that. Hopefully that it'll focus. You could see it at the bottom. You see the dove and the ram. And the ram's skull represents Aries for sure. And this is a Venus in Aries card, by the way, right? So you have the ram and the dove are symbols of lust. They're symbols of love. They're symbols of aggression. They're symbols of peace. They're symbols of persistence and cooperation. And this card is telling you all are needed, right? All are needed for a sustained win. And Wands is the suit of action. And this card combines that with a celebration of some sort, right? Definitely, there is a celebration at hand. It's really weird. It's almost like you have all this energy with this goal-oriented energy, right? But there is something in the background here. There is something in the background here that is very lustful too. It's very lustful. So maybe it is taking a back seat to it. Maybe. Well, we're going to finish the reading here. But you do have the Knight of Pentacles, and the Knight of Pentacles is Saturn in Virgo energy. As we know, this is the slowest moving knight in the deck, right? He's slow moving, but he's extremely stable. Anything he does lasts, right? He thinks very hard before he moves on, but he does move on at his own pace. There is energy towards this new goal that's nice and slow and very productive, but there is a resistance here, and I'm wondering where that's coming from. Are you closed off and guarded towards a person who is offering you this sort of lusty encounter? Are you seeing somebody as deceptive? Are you seeing someone as a sort of stumbling block on your path? Something you were tempted by, something you were tempted to sort of take part in, and you're starting to see, hey, this will just work against me in the end, perhaps. Could be, because this is Jupiter energy. We add this up, we break it down, we get Jupiter. And this is expansion. In order for you to expand, it looks like you're closing off to something or someone. And here we have in our challenges, it says watching and inspecting, right? Yeah, after close inspection. Now, this could be someone looking at you, but let's see. Yeah, no, you have two tens here. So you have the 10 of Wands as a challenge, right? Saturn in Sagittarius, the end of some sort of stressful work, but this is stressful, right? There is no doubt that you're going to be running into some stress here, but man, there's just too many good cards for you to not forge forward, because look, you have the Ten of Pentacles. In order for you to receive this Mercury in Virgo energy, and this could be money, this is some sort of stability, long-term stability. The two tens, you're finishing. Very stressful, but also very lucrative. It is a challenge, but at the same time, you also have this Justice card that came out in the same exact upright position as a challenge. So there is some sort of thing, there is something being recalibrated here. And this recalibration could bring in, obviously, a lot of opportunity for you, but it also brings in a questioning of someone else, someone in your life, right? That doesn't bring much to the table beyond that lust, if that makes sense to you. When we add this up and we break, and also that for at least one of you, that could be legal matters for sure, something balancing out that way. But we have Uranus energy when we add this up. Unexpected outcome, unexpected change, could be sort of a rebellious type situation. But let's look at your opportunities. Here you go. You have more Jupiter energy. Look at this. Action, beginnings. This is your opportunity pile. So you have the opportunity for all this Jupiter energy that kept coming out over and over again. And I'm telling you, you are rethinking it. Somebody's offering you something and it looks like a cup of love. I think you're recognizing it as lust. And I think you're going to go for the money. And it's not because you don't want love ever. It's because whatever is being offered to you isn't, I think you're starting to see it for what it is, whatever that may be, because you have the Knight of Swords coming in right after that. And as an opportunity, I look at the Knight of Swords like it's a lot like this Knight of Pentacles in the upright. You're taking it slow. You're like, you know what? Yeah, this is what this is about. I'm going to take it slow. I'm not rushing in. The Knight of Swords can be very lusty, can be. So can the Knight of Wands. But the Knight of Swords doesn't think much. He just rushes in, right? And here you have the Queen of Pentacles in reverse as an opportunity. And I really like that because this is self-care. You're taking all that caring energy that you may have given to someone else and you're pointing it inward at yourself, self-love, self-care that we looked at the beginning of your journey there. And when we add this up and we break it down, we get Uranus energy again. So both challenge and the opportunity lies in change for you, right? That rebellious thing, that change is necessary for growth. It's Aquarian energy, yes, but it is absolutely necessary. So you are going to be presented with some lusty something or other this month. It's going to be up to you whether you think it's worth it, because you have other things that are definitely coming out of this month. If you put your attention, it's going to have long-reaching tentacles into your future for Pisces, please. Yep, Pisces, you have the Magician. So you have all the tools necessary, right, to alchemize the situation into anything you want. It does say willpower, desire, creation, manifestation. Absolutely. Absolutely. And we know the rabbit is a very fertile creature, right? So let's do your numerology because this should be interesting. Okay, when we add all the numbers up in this reading and we break them down, we get 11, which is a master number. It's a cardinal number, and it is a bridging number. It is two things coming together, but it is also you crossing a bridge from one point of your life to another. There's a possibility of that. You don't have to cross the bridge, but if this was my reading, I would, okay? The number that came out the most in this reading was number 4, and that is Uranus, right? Is that unexpected change, necessary change. Aquarius energy. The planet that came out the most shouldn't surprise you. It is Jupiter, expansion, growth, luck. And the sign that came out the most, interestingly enough, is Sagittarius, more Jupiter energy, right? By far, way ahead of the others. Now, the signs that came out in this reading were Cancer, Libra, Pisces, Aquarius, Capricorn, Taurus, Leo, Gemini, Sagittarius, Aries, and Virgo. I wish you nothing but luck. Definitely keep an open mind to your goals. Keep a sort of watchful eye on anything that looks too hot, right? Very tempting. If somebody comes in with an apology, I'm not saying don't forgive them. I'm just saying remember, if they did do something to cross you in the past, remember, don't leave yourself open to that happening again. I wish you nothing but luck, Pisces. Don't forget to listen to your birthday reading. 3 blessings coming to Pisces between 2025 and 2026. Namaste.